This conference will now be recorded.
Let me share my screen. You should be able to see my screen now. Um, Yesterday we discussed about creating pipelines, all that. We'll repeat it, but now before we repeat them, let's understand the various components related to pipelines. Let me bring up the slides. Basically, uh, yeah. Now, what is a pipeline? We all use this word in our day-to-day work, right? I have a lot of work in my pipeline. So that means pipeline is nothing but a set of tasks, right? So even here it's the same. It's set of steps. Okay. Step is a technical term. Steps is a technical term. Okay. Uh, which contains tasks. Steps contains tasks, and each task performs some action. Task can be anything. It can be printing hello world text. It can be copying a file from one location to another location. It can be uploading a file, downloading a file, converting a file from source code into executable. So, right? It could be anything. Okay. It could be waiting. Everything is an action. So everything is an action, and each action is done by a task. Okay. And tasks are part of steps. Step will be part of pipeline. Okay. I have a separate slide which talks about parent-child relationship. I will show you that in a moment. Now, pipeline is nothing but a set of steps. Each step performs some action. Now, performing an action is important here, right? So, in order to perform an action, the pipeline must run somewhere. That means pipeline must execute. Somebody should execute the pipeline. Running means executing, right? Performing these actions, right? So, who is going to run this pipeline? In order to run a pipeline, we need an agent. Agent is not a human. Okay, agent is something which is compute infrastructure. Okay, so that means it's a server basically. Agent is nothing but a server which contains all the softwares related to the agent. What softwares? Softwares related to all the actions. There might be hundreds of actions. These actions might be defined by Microsoft, or these actions might be defined by us or somebody else like us. Okay, so those softwares must be installed in an agent, in a computer or server, that is called as agent. Okay, and this agent will run job. Here you see a new term called job. So far we have heard about pipelines, tasks, agent, job, right? These are the common terms that we will be using. Okay, slowly we'll understand all this, and the relationship between all these also will understand. Okay, in a separate slide. Now these agents can work with any language: C Sharp, Java, Node.js, Python, anything. All it needs is corresponding software that we need to install. That's it, right? And it works with Windows, Linux, and Mac OS as well. Of course, when I say Linux, Linux flavors like Ubuntu, those kind of things. Okay. Now these pipelines need input, right? The input will always be code, source code. This source code can be hosted anywhere which supports Git, right? So yesterday we discussed, I have shown you, right? Azure DevOps repos is what we will be using. And of course, GitHub Bitbucket can also be used if at all you are using those things as version control systems. And of course, Azure DevOps is not just specific to Azure, but for other clouds like this, AWS, GCP, or even on-prem. But we will be focusing only on Azure in this course. Okay. Now here we discuss about many terms: pipeline, job, task, right? So let's understand the relationship between all those. So we will first create a pipeline. Inside a pipeline, basically, in the previous slide I said a pipeline is nothing but set of tasks, right? That is true, but pipeline will not have tasks inside it. Instead, immediate child of pipeline is stage. Immediate child of stage is job. Immediate child of job is task. Okay. One stage can contain more than one job. One job can contain minimum one task, and we can have n number of tasks. I don't know if there's any limit, but definitely jobs contains tasks. They're not steps, they are tasks. Similarly, each pipeline can have multiple stages. Okay, so pipeline contains stages, stages contains jobs, jobs contains tasks. Now, when we create pipeline, if you remember, stage need not be created. It's optional. Okay. When we create a pipeline, we can directly add tasks. Creation of stages is optional. Creation of job is also optional by us. I mean, developing job is not mandatory, but task specifying the task is mandatory. And when you run the pipeline, job will be created automatically. Stage will not be created automatically. Only job will be created automatically. Okay. Now I'll take a pause and ask you a question. In the previous slide, we learned that each task will perform some action, and that action must be executed by agent. Right? Now basically agent will execute these tasks, all these tasks. Now tell me guys, to whom agent must be assigned? Do we need to assign agent to a pipeline or a stage or a job or a task? Whom should we assign the agent? It's just a guess. Maybe in interview people would ask these kind of questions. You have so
Set
many
to the job, right?
to the job. Perfect. Right? So agents must be or will be assigned to jobs. Okay. You can specify agent to the pipeline or a stage, but the actual assignment of a agent is to the job. If you specify agent to the pipeline, that means all stages, all jobs must be associated with that agent. That's the meaning of assigning an agent to a stage or a job or a pipeline. Okay, you don't need to assign job on. In fact, you cannot even assign an agent to individual tasks. That's not possible. An agent can be assigned to a job or a stage or a pipeline. Okay, but actual jobs will be created or executed by the agent. Okay, so remember this. I'll repeat: pipeline creation is mandatory. Task creation by us. When you develop, you need to create pipeline. You need to create tasks. You need to develop tasks. Okay, stage creation is optional. Job creation is optional. But when you run the pipeline, job will be created automatically on behalf of us. Stage will not be created automatically. Stage will be created only when we write the code for stage. Okay, let's now create a pipeline with two jobs. Okay, all right. Create a pipeline. You see, connect, select, configure, review. So we are going to do hello world only. Okay, so and hello world doesn't need any git repo, right? But it's mandatory to select git repo whenever we create a pipeline. Without git repo we cannot create a pipeline. Select the repo, um, and then starter pipeline, because we want to start from the very basics. Okay, now here you see this is the repo name and directly it shows us the file name. Feel free to make changes. Now we are going to develop hello world, right? Hello world, maybe pipeline. And it's not a good practice to directly create file like this. We need to create folders, right? um, so if you directly choose the starter in this step, we have select, I think in this step or this step, I think this step we have selected starter pipeline, right? So yeah, so here we can specify pipeline slash hello world, like this. Okay, so let's not worry about what it has now. Let's go ahead and save it. Okay, while saving, it is asking us, do you want to commit directly to develop branch? No, create a new branch for this. Okay, now we already created a branch yesterday, remember? Whenever we get a task, the first thing that we should do is creating that branch. What is the branch name? I forgot. So this is a small problem. I don't think we can use that here, because create a new branch for this commit, right? So for first time pipeline creation, the branch must be created like this. This is option one. So of course it might throw an error. Let's see. It says that branch is already existing, right? So they will just say one. Okay. So what did we do now? We created a pipeline. Creating a pipeline also created a branch. In this branch, you see pipelines folder got created. Inside this hello world folder got created. Inside this hello world hyphen pipeline.yml got created. You can also edit it from here. Don't edit it ever, because IntelliSense won't work here. You see, I'm pressing space. IntelliSense is not coming up. So pipelines, don't edit pipelines here unless you know that it's a small change. If you want IntelliSense, don't come to repos and all. You should come to pipelines like this and select the pipelines. Now we created a pipeline, right? So let me come back here. Earlier this was empty. The new pipeline or create pipeline button was here, right? Now we have pipelines, so these tabs are coming up. These are recent ones. If you want all, you can come here. And one good practice is to organize things in folders, right? So how do you create folders? It's up to you. Based on the project requirement, you should create various folders. Now how do we move it? You cannot drag and drop, that's not possible. So rename, move. Now first of all, why, how did this DevOps come? I did not give any name. So basically what happens is, by default, the name of the pipeline is picked from the name of the repository. If you remember, while creating the pipeline, we selected DevOps as the repo. So automatically, I mean, here we have DevOps. Guys, 1 second. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So you see, while creating, we selected this branch. Sorry, I'm sorry. We selected this repository, right? So all new pipelines will take the repository name as its name. Okay. So, oops, sorry. So we need to change it. So there are two things. One, change the name and move it to this folder. So how do we do that? Select this option, rename and move. So what is our pipeline? Hello world. It just prints hello world. And which folder should it move? Into hello world. That's it. Now it's moved perfectly. So this circle means there are no runs. When you run it, it will either be in red color, orange color, or green color. Red means there is an error. Green means no errors, it's all successful. Orange means partial successful. Okay, all right. So now we just created, we will modify it. So whenever you want to work on pipelines, you always need to focus on this. In which branch we are making the change, that's very important. You see, right now we just started and already we have five branches. I'm the only one person. Think about, 10 people, 20 people team working for years. Definitely you will see hundreds of pipelines. You yourself would have created 100 pipelines in 1 year for sure. Okay, so these feature branches, one best practice is these feature branches must be short lived. That means in just a day or two, you must delete this after your work is done. After your work is done, you must promote the changes to develop and delete your feature branch because you don't need it. Many people worry that, hey, my work is here. I worked hard for 5 days, 6 days, 10 days. I want to keep this. Guys, 1 second. Yeah. So always make sure that you are in the right branch and you are making changes appropriate. Sometimes what happens is when you come here by clicking somewhere, right? Click on, you will have a lot of pipelines, you'll get confused, right? Sometimes you'll be, in hurry, you'll be in rush. So you'll come here directly make changes. Don't do that. Always check which branch you are in. Otherwise, your work you will get confused and your work will be lost. Okay. So slowly we'll learn all this, but for now, I'll remove everything. I'll do it from the scratch. Okay. Now, before even that, yeah, let me open pipelines before I make any changes. Here you see, so far it did not run, no runs yet. How do you run it? Multiple places are there. One of them is run pipeline. This is one place. Okay. How do you edit it? Edit the pipeline. Okay. So this is one place where you run the pipeline. Second place is click on edit. When you edit, it comes here. And here it is not yet saved. So once you save it, this will turn into run button. Okay. So yeah, let's write. If you remember, I mentioned this is a pipeline. Entire thing is pipeline, which contains stages. Stages contains job and jobs contains tasks. Job must contain these steps. So I am not creating stages, I am not creating jobs, I am directly creating tasks. Okay? So now I want to, ours is basic, right? So we want to create a PowerShell task. So PowerShell can be written in a file, and that file can be referred from here, or you can write inline code. The first line here says hash means comment. Write your PowerShell commands here. That's a comment. Write hyphen host will print this text. That's it. We're done. So put your cursor here. Wherever your cursor is located, the code will be added to that location. We are done. So now validate and save. Pipeline is valid. Commit directly. Now you see it is turned into run. This is another way of running. Okay, when you are in edit mode, in this is called as YAML editor. This is called as YAML assistant. Editor assistant. So in the YAML editor, you will have run button. Okay. So I did not run it yet, right? Now let's go here, and I can run from here also. So multiple options. Now let me refresh. I did not run yet. However, you see, it is running. Who ran it? I did not run it just now. It's been 21 seconds. And it's done. It's now in green, success. So who ran it? I did not run it. So how did it run? If you remember, what are we doing? Uh, we are working on creating CI/CD pipelines. What is the first thing? It's CI. CI means continuous integration. What is continuous integration? Any changes to the branch. Obviously, who will make changes to the branch? Developers will make changes. Whenever developer makes changes to the branch, automatically pipeline should get kicked off. That's what is happening. By default, continuous integration is enabled. That means whenever you make changes to the branch, automatically pipeline will run. Whether your work is complete or incomplete, it will automatically run. So when you are in development state, obviously you will be saving it many times, right? For example, I might have to create 5 tasks. Obviously, I will not keep it open all the time, right? I will just create one task at a time. I'll take breaks, come back, I'll add more tasks. In the middle, I will be saving it to save my work, right? So it doesn't make sense to run the pipeline when we are in the middle, correct? So we need to disable automatic trigger. Okay, how do you do that? Go to settings here by clicking on these 3 dots. Don't go to settings, click on 3 dots. Triggers. Trigger means automatically invoking the pipeline. There are multiple types of triggers. First one is continuous integration. Here you see override and then disable. By default, what's there? By default, any branch wherever the pipeline code is modified, it will automatically execute. Now I have disabled it. So save. From now onwards, the pipeline will not be kicked off even if you make changes to your pipeline. But earlier it automatically ran, correct? So now this was the first execution which ran. How do we know whether a pipeline is executed manually or automatically? Here you see individual CI for Praveen Kumar for this branch. That means Praveen has made a change to this branch. In this branch, Praveen made a change. PK means Praveen Kumar, and automatically CI got triggered. Individual CI. And what change did Praveen make? If you want to see that, click on this commit. This commit number. Okay. This is automatical trigger. Now let me run it manually. Okay. Here run pipeline is there. Now when I run it, it is asking me, hey, which branch? Is it developed? No. Develop doesn't have that file yet. It's in this branch only. The hello world.yaml file is available only in this branch. Now you see the error is gone. If you select something else, it says could not find a valid YAML pipeline, blah blah blah. Okay, so now run it. It automatically takes here. We'll come back to this, but let me go back to pipeline executions. Now you see one more is queued. Initially it will go to queued state and it is running state and it will be successful in a moment. But now you see manually triggered for Praveen Kumar so and so change. Last change was this only, same commit number. I did not make any change to this code yet. Okay, this is how you understand, okay, whether the pipeline is running automatically or manually. Okay, now even if I make change, it won't run because we have disabled the trigger. Okay, all right. So let's make changes. So this is task one. I am going to create one more task. You can copy paste. Correct. You should put your cursor to the exact place. It's task one, task two. Even if this one space, it's gone. You see, add one space. So be very careful. It should be aligned properly. Validate and save. Save. I saved it, and here you see CI is disabled, so it won't run. Let's see. Go back. Only two executions. Third execution will not happen because we CI is disabled. Okay. Now let's run manually because we added second task as well. So run it immediately. It takes you to summary page. This is called as summary page. So every execution will get a number. You see, number 3. This is the third run, and this is date 2024 April 4th. On this date, third execution got kicked off. Of course, you can change this if you want to customize this. Maybe we want to say hello world pipeline so on so date so on so year month date and number. That's all possible. You can customize that. And you say the job is running. Remember, I say I did not create a job, but job will be created automatically. That's what I meant. Stage is not there, you see. So now these are all various cards. These are all some tabs. So manually ran by Praveen. This pipeline is in this, the pipeline, YAML files are located in this DevOps repo, in this feature branch. This is the commit. Just now it ran, how much time it took. And did it produce any artifacts? No. This pipeline does not create any files, no outputs yet. The output only is inside this. Now, job. Now, job contains two tasks, right? So, click on this. Now, it will show us entire history of all the tasks. These are all various tasks. Two of them are created by us. Rest of the other things are automatically created everywhere. We'll come to this, but what is this task? It just says PowerShell. It doesn't have any meaningful names, which is not correct, right? We'll fix it now. But click on this. When you click on this in the right hand side, it shows us the console, everything related to that particular task. The first section here, what is the task name, author, who is the author, right? And what is the thing that it is doing. We did hello world. Same thing even here. Okay. So slowly we'll learn about this as well. Let's not worry about this for now. We'll slowly explain all this. So now I don't want to display the task name. I want a meaningful name to understand what it exactly does. So how do we fix it? Basically, you should go to pipeline, edit, ensure that you are in the right branch. And what is the name that it gives? Automatically the task name. The task name at the rate version number. This will also have versions 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now a task needs a name. Now you see underneath exactly should come here under task. Then only autocomplete comes up. Display name. Name is there, display name is there. So display name is something that we want to see. Task 1. Similarly, display name task 2. Run it. It is in queued state. Click on this. Now you see that it is showing us meaningful names. Whatever we wanted, that is coming up. Earlier it was showing PowerShell. Now it is clean. Okay. So yeah, what did we do? We created two tasks. How many jobs? Only one job. And what is this meaningful? It doesn't have any meaningful name. It just says job. I don't want this. I want job one, some name, custom name, and I want job two as well. So right now we have only one job. We don't even have a job here. Automatically job is created. But now I want to change the name of the job. It's not possible unless you create it. If you're not creating a job yourself, you cannot change the name, right? If you want your own name, custom name, you have to create your own job, right? So let's do that. Whenever you hit enter, this autocomplete will show up. You need to press escape. Okay, so I want to start somewhere here. So because there is an error, autocomplete might not work properly. So you have to press control space. So can I create a job directly? No, it's not possible as you can see here. But we'll try. Let me try. What does it say? Unexpected property job. So we have to create stages. Or maybe we'll remove it. This code. We'll add it later. Let's try. Yeah, I think we can create jobs guys directly. Let's see. Because there was code, it was giving error. Because when you don't have jobs, the code can fit here. That's fine. And once you add jobs, the code should not be here. So that's why it is not, the intelligence doesn't work properly. So now everything is removed. Jobs. Now you see what happened. A colon is added automatically and hyphen is added automatically. Now jobs. Jobs is a collection. Okay. Earlier, what did we do? Steps. Steps is a collection of tasks. So child one, child two. The children of steps must be aligned properly. Collection contains items, right? Item one, item two. Each item must start with dash. Exactly same. Exactly. We should also have jobs. It says that hyphen. It automatically added hyphen one, first hyphen, and now there are two types of jobs. Very soon, maybe in a couple of days, we'll use deployment job, but now we will use normal job. It is asking a name. Name is different, display name is different. Okay, name means it's similar to employee number. We all, when you work, you will have a employee code or employee number, right? Nobody remembers that. Sometimes we ourselves forget our employee number, right? Because it will be big, 10, 5, 6 characters, 10 characters or something. So display name everybody remembers, so it makes sense to have a display name, right? As well, here we'll have both of them. We can put space also here. Here spaces are not allowed, but in display name you can put spaces whatever you want. Now jobs contain multiple jobs, and each job contain tasks, and tasks are defined in steps. and step is a collection of tasks. I'm adding. Okay, I already have it in my clipboard, right? I did a control X. Now I can paste it. Now you see it got messed up. Let's fix this. So new people, when who are working on this for the first time, it's not easy for them to fix this. Okay, but I already worked on it multiple times, right? I can fix it easily. So let's fix it. So what is the problem here? First problem is steps. Obviously you cannot have multiple steps, so remove it. Don't use backspace or delete buttons here in this editor. I want to remove entire line. So what is the shortcut, guys, to remove entire line? You forgot. Control X. I remember this. I want to remove entire line now. I am pressing Control X. It's gone. Now what is the problem? It says here it is a problem, but problem is here. These two are not aligned properly. These two tasks children of steps. So that they cannot align left to its parent. They must be aligned towards right, or at least to the same level. I selected this entire code and pressed tab one time. And when I press tab one time, these two got aligned to S, which is perfect. But it makes sense to have one more to understand that okay, these are all children of steps. When you collapse, it looks good. Now this looks good. Steps has two children. Job has childs. Jobs has one job. Now I want second job as well. Copy it. Now come here exactly to this location. This line, you see this line, follow through this line and put your cursor here. Cursor won't come properly. Um, yeah, cursor is here. Though I clicked here, it won't come automatically. Now press enter. When you press enter, this intelligence comes up, escape. Now you should press backspace. Put your cursor exactly by following this line. Okay, and paste. I copied all this and pasted. Now, if you validate, it throws an error. What is the error? The job name job once appears more than once. Job names must be unique. What is the job name? Job name is this. Job one and job one. No, that's not possible. Now it says, well, I can just validate. I can just validate here. Pipeline is valid. Now display name. This is job one here. It is job one same here. That's fine. No problem. But we'll change it to job two. That's it. But so we created two jobs. See now two jobs are created and both are in queued state. Job one is done. Job two got kicked off now. Hey, I think I copy pasted it, right? How come this is still PowerShell? It should have been task one only. There is a problem here. Okay, somehow this got messed up. How is that possible? Now it failed. You see red color. Maybe copy paste. While copy pasting, you see I did not copy entire thing. Only one line got copied. The rest of the three lines somehow did not get copied. It's a copy paste problem. That's what. That's why this was all missing. That's it. So unfortunately, every small change will have to run entire process, which is time consuming. Again, jobs will be kicked off. Now it is waiting. Microsoft Azure DevOps is trying to allocate an agent. Did we create agent? No. Did we install any software in that agent? No. Who is running all this? Default agents are automatically available. There will be thousands of servers in Microsoft data centers. So one of those servers will be assigned to us, and they will take care of running these pipelines automatically. Now, yeah, now it is successful. You can click on this, it will take you to the same place where you can see job 1, job 2. Okay. Now which agent ran it? What is the OS? What is the software? Right? Those informations are important to us, right? So when you are here or here, you see in the right hand side it says Ubuntu latest. Linux machine is being used. Which exact machine? What is the software inside it? Then you click on this initialize job. Now you see agent name is this. This is our machine name. 296 FVAZ 638 blah blah blah. Right? What is the specific, very specific OS? Ubuntu 22.04.4. LTS means long term support. What softwares are installed? This is Ubuntu, so on so version. Softwares are all documented in GitHub. It's a huge list of softwares. I don't know what many of them. You see, all these softwares are installed. What are we doing? We were using PowerShell. PowerShell, this version is installed. Okay. So now what are we are using default agents, right? They are actually not. We should not call it as default agents. We should call them as hosted agents. Hosted means Microsoft is hosting it. So they are taken care by Microsoft. We cannot log into this machine. We cannot see what's there inside it. Only way is refer the documentation. Okay. So now question to you. What do you guess, guys? Both jobs are running in the same machine or different machines? What is your guess?
So I don't think it can run on the same machine. Each job has to run on a particular machine,
Yeah.
except you restrict them to run on the same machine.
Okay. So just remember this. Second job is running in 638-296. 638-296. So both jobs ran on the same machine. That is common but not guaranteed. Okay. So because both of them are in the same pipeline and both of them ran at the same time. I'm repeating. Both jobs are in the same pipeline and they're almost executed at the same time. Hardly 1 2 seconds gap would be there between the job execution, but almost same time. Because it is same pipeline, same time, that's the reason why you see agent name is same. So what we can also do is we can say, hey, don't run this job now, only run this job now, maybe run this job later. I want my manager to approve this, then only it should run. We can also specify that. That means for now this agent is busy, his agent might be free, that's why Microsoft allocated this to us. But when my manager is trying to approve it, during that time this may be occupied with something else. So during that time some other agent might come, we don't know. So always remember that job same agent might not run both of the jobs. That's very important, especially when these two jobs are dependent on each other. Obviously this can never be dependent on this, that's not possible. So second job will always be dependent on first job. Okay. So when there is a dependency, okay, So you should always think that, okay, the output of the many times, right, when you do real time jobs, um, job 2 will be dependent on job 1. Job 1 creates some output, and that output must be available here, right? Don't always assume that this output is automatically given to this. No, that's not. That's sometimes automatic, not every time. Okay, so we'll understand when we implement real time scenarios, we'll understand how to get the dependencies between the jobs. Okay. Okay. Now we have two jobs. Let's now create stages. Okay. But actually, let's see the summary page. You see, remember this. It is just jobs, and both jobs are here. We don't have any stages yet, right? So how do from here also I can directly go to edit pipeline, ensure that you are in the correct branch. Now we have jobs. How do we create stages? I did a cut. So stages. Oops, sorry. Same structure. Stages. Create a stage. Colon stage name. Stage can also have display name. This can have spaces. Underneath it, you can have jobs. And I pasted it. Okay. So, oops, what did I do? Yeah, I did a tab, and we don't need this, right? Control X. There is an admin problem. So select all the code. What happened? Yeah, I think press tab and errors are gone. It makes sense to have one more tab, but it's up to us. That's it. We have stage one. Inside the stages, inside the stage we have jobs, and this under this we have two jobs. One stage, two jobs. That's it. Save it, run it. Now you see, because we have only one stage, it is not shown. So stages are always tricky. Um, Now let's create one more stage and see what happens. It's fine. While it is running also we can edit it. There is no harm. So I want to add one more stage. So don't collapse and copy. Okay. So select whatever you want and put your cursor. Collapse these jobs. And it won't come down like this. So maybe you can collapse. Oops, sorry. Exactly. It should come here this time. Here. Paste. That is perfect. There is no error. Stage 1, stage 2 are aligned properly. And of course, it will throw an error because you cannot have two stages with the same name. Now tell me guys, there are duplicate jobs. Stages are unique, which is good. Okay, now you see job 1, job 2, job 1, job 2. Do you think it will throw an error? What do you think? It won't. Python is valid. Jobs must be unique within that stage. There's no harm. Now you see, observe the output here. Because we have two stages, immediately you see there is a dependency. Stage 1 did not even get queued. If you remember, jobs were waiting at the same time. You see both jobs are queued. One of them is running, of course, but here it is not even queued because by default stage is dependent on previous stage. Okay, dependency here in stages is automatic, implicit. Jobs are not. Second job can run parallelly. or second job can run before even first job starts. That can also happen. Here you see both are, yeah, you see, that's exactly what I said. Job 2 got finished before job 1. Job 2 actually started before job 1 started. Jobs by default are parallel, or there is no dependency, but dependency between stages is implicit, is automatic. Now it is saying stage 1, right? Because this is display name. I did not change the display name, so I forgot. Okay, so stages are little different. So now this view shows stages and this view shows only jobs. Okay, so now let's make some more changes. I have stage 1. I will make it to stage 2. I will create stage 3, stage 4 as well, or maybe we'll just do stage 3. Edit pipeline. Here it should make it to stage 2, right? I forgot this. And I'll copy this entire thing and maybe second line, right? So the second line. So I made a mistake somewhere, so collapse it. So oops, yeah, I could not paste it exactly. Now this is fine. This is stage 3, stage 3, valid. So now observe guys, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 is what it shows in a sequence. Now I don't want this sequence. Stage 1 is first stage, which is perfectly fine. Stage 2 is second one, which is perfectly fine. Stage 2 depends on stage 1. So now stage 1 as per this, sorry, stage 3 as per this, it depends on stage 2. I am not dependent on stage 2. Stage 3 depends on stage 1. That's requirement, usual requirement. So can we change it? Absolutely yes. How? Go to edit. So basically dependencies can be specified. So by default job 2 is dependent on job 1. I'm sorry, stage 2 depends on stage 1. That's the default one behavior. Now stage 3 also should depend on stage 1. So depends on what is the name of stage 1, it's stage 1. Now you see the difference. They're not in sequence anymore. Stage 2 and stage 3 are in parallel. Let's see. You see, both of them are waiting now. And they got kicked off. Here you see job 2 got kicked off. Job 2 was started first and this one started next. Okay, and you can rerun the stage. All those are possible. If you want to rerun, that's possible. Okay, we will try that. So how do you want to expand? Don't click anywhere, just click on these buttons. When you hover, you will see those buttons which are expand stage. So now maybe I want to rerun this. Are you sure? Yes.
Praveen, just here, rerun the stage means like that particular stage will only run, or the stage one will also run.
See,
I mean to say, for example, the stage two is considering some kind of input parameters from the stage one, right? If you run the stage two rerun means how it will actually happens.
very good question. Anybody want to answer? So right now you see, I rerun that stage. Only that stage got executed. Correct. So how do we know? Maybe you can click on this, and you see here it says stage two ran twice. Attempt two. If you click on this, attempt one is also shown. Only stage 2 got executed twice. Stage 3, stage 1 did not run. Now the question is, what is the benefit of running stage 2 one more time? Right? When should we run it? Generally, we should rerun it when there is a change in the input. So who is giving input? Stage 1 is giving input. When stage 1 is not rerunning, does it make any sense to run stage 2? That's the question. And when you rerun it, stage 1 also should run, right? So now it doesn't work that way, but your point is valid. If in here stage 2 is dependent on stage 1, stage 2 must be re-executed only when there is a change in stage 1 output. Otherwise there is no requirement of rerunning this stage. That's what you're saying, right? No, your point is perfectly valid in 70-80% of the cases. Always rerunning of second stage or third stage might not make sense, um, unless stage 1 is also rerun. But sometimes what happens is stages here will be dependent for sure on stage 1's output. At the same time, this might also be dependent on some external things as well. For example, variables. Okay, so for example, I'll explain. We did not discuss about library yet. Um, the library is a place where we will have all parameters. Remember in Bicep, we were passing parameters, right? Those parameters now will come from here. You have param file, right? Bicep param. That's code, right? So far we were hard coding those bicep params here. This is dev, right? All these values are coming here. So very soon we are going to fix it. So these will come from library. So whenever we make changes to that library, we don't need to rerun this because there is no code change. If there's a code change, definitely rerunning this will not have any impact. We have to rerun this as well when there's a code change. But now there is no code change, but there is a change in the value of the parameter. The value is changed within the library. In such case, we can rerun only this. We don't have to run this again. Does it make sense?
Partially. Yeah, maybe we need to see some kind of scenario, then we will get more insight. Yeah. Yeah, as of now, good, Praveen. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So I'll repeat. Stage 2 will not 100% dependent on stage 1. Okay. So 80%, 70% of the times, yes, it depends. If there is a change in code, then this also should run. Sometimes there is a change in the 20% of the other dependencies like libraries. In that case, if you modified the value in library, then you can rerun this stage. When you rerun this stage, it will take the new values from library. Okay, you don't have to rerun stage 1 because there is no change in the code. Okay, all right. So that's about stages and dependencies. And of course, we can always have dependency between these two as well. Let's do that. Dependency between jobs. Job 1, job 2. So here we can specify depends on 1. job 1 within the same stage. Similarly, now there will be everything will be in sequence. So only after this is complete, then only this will start. Now see, first one got completed, then only second one will start. Okay, all right. So now there is a problem in our code. What problem? Anybody notice any problem here? How many lines of code? There is nothing, but very soon 100 lines of code almost. The problem here is duplicate code, right? In all jobs we have duplicates, correct? So that's a problem. So we'll have to fix this. We'll fix it tomorrow. Okay. Otherwise, I'm done for today, guys. Any other questions? No? Okay. All right, then if you don't have any questions, we'll stop it here for today. All right. All right, guys. Thank you.